So I'm sitting under these boxes so that I can hopefully avoid them hitting my head and squeezing it. Since I put my hand over my ear, the swelling went to my hand. So every time they run this magnetic field over me, it squeezes my hand. So part of what I wanted to tell you about that, which is I think important, is the sensation of having your head squeezed is how they trick people into thinking that they're reading their minds. Once you put that sensation in your hand, you can feel the same thing, that same tightness in your hand, and you can tell that they're not reading your mind. So they said, oh, the squeezing also makes it feel like you're thinking it. It doesn't. It really, what it does is it seizes your brain. It's a muscle. So that tightness makes you just stop. Like, when you feel something in your body, it distracts you. So you start feeling that feeling in your body, and you're like, and that in and of itself stops you from being able to think of things. It confuses you. It's like, what is that feeling? And especially when you know they're the ones causing it. Part of why it gets me angry is because that trick, literally it's a trick, causes so much of this, So I told you in a previous video I was going to tell you, guess the movie. So just as I'm getting ready, they're talking. And they're like, you forgot the movie. That's my point. They are always trying to, they said they want to correct me. No, it's something worse than that. It's trying to make me make a mistake. And then when a human brain can't think as quickly as a computer. So when they can punch up stuff in the computer's spitting out stuff. My human brain is like, wait, what? Then when I make a mistake, they call it out. So they said, you used to be so dishonest in the way you communicated. I have a career based on effective communication. There wasn't any dishonesty in the way I communicated. That's my point with these folks. They're the dishonest people. All their setups were revealed already. We don't have to keep going over their setups. They do these things intentionally to mess people up, pretty much. So when I wasn't being messed up and I wasn't making mistakes, then they came up with this other technique. So let me go to the distorting reality Christopher Nolan movie. It's Memento. And you guys who have seen it, I think he's probably one of the most brilliant people in movie making. But that movie was amazing, and it's about distorting reality. So if you guys want more information about these types of things, take a look at that movie. I told you in a previous video, take a look at the movie House of Cards with Joe Mantegna. Not House of Cards, excuse me, House of Games. House of Games with Joe Mantegna. The movie Grifters. The movie Gaslight. What other movie? The movie Parasite. So there are a lot of movies based on these types of people that can help put it, sometimes when it's you, it's hard. But if you can put it on in a way that you can see it and say, oh, that's how they work. How in the movie Parasite, they latch on to people and they destroy them. That was the goal for them to do to me. Whereas if I wasn't successful, they wouldn't have latched on to me. That's my whole point. All their setups are based on me being successful, based on me being in a place where I am considered good. You don't have to bring someone down if they were never up. And that's why this is so important. And I have to get this information out. They get upset when I say that in our society, we celebrate lifting people up as opposed to keeping people up. It's not, to me, the success of a society where we have to keep lifting people up as opposed to keeping them up, keeping them in housing, keeping them in jobs, keeping people in places where they can sustain themselves. I don't believe we should have a society where some people get to pick who they lift up and others stay at the bottom. That's like the crabs in a barrel analogy, where every time the crab tries to get up, someone pulls them down. the crabs that get out of the barrel are taken out of the barrel. I don't believe we should have a society like that. That's a society where we have to hope, pray, cross our fingers that someone up high is going to rescue us. No. We need a society where everyone can be at their own level and have success, and hopefully sustain that success, where people aren't coming into your life to bring you down like the crab in the barrel, or people aren't having to rescue you so that they can pretend that they're superior. To me, there's something about that is about superiority. And everyone I mention in these setups have that thought that they're superior. So they keep saying, I don't say things honestly. Of course I say things honestly. I would not have been a success at what I was doing if I had been dishonest. And part of why this is important that I tell you this is that is based on them distorting my reality. The distortion of the reality is that something in me needs them to lift me up, to help me. And I could just end the sentence with to help me. That's what they want it to be. They can't take the reality that there are plenty of people who would be successful and are successful if they don't have people pulling them down, if they don't have parasites latching onto them just when they get a chance. The other thing about that, because there's so much I can go into that, but I want to go back to the idea of distorting people's reality. That to me is the ultimate distortion of reality, that we don't have a population of human beings who, if they're given the chance, can sustain themselves without people having to pull them up or pull them down. That's the ultimate distortion. So here they are, I have the power off in this room so that it's harder for them to keep talking. And there's no TV. So if you hear something, it's them. So here they are. After years of me being successful, and now I'm unsuccessful thanks to them, thinking that they can come in and try to pretend to rescue me. That is the ultimate distortion of reality. They cause the problem, then they become the solution. So I'm going to cause a problem in your life, and then wait a minute, now I'll solve it so that you can thank me and say how wonderful I am. That's who these people are. And that's pretty much what is going on I think, in this situation with gang stalking, AI, microwave hearing, microwave weapons, and this system of using it, where they came into my life once I became successful to pull me down and then pretend that they were going to help me. Why weren't they there before? The reason why they weren't there before is because they didn't have that level of success. And that's my point. These types of people operate in that way. They wouldn't have wanted me if I wasn't successful. They wouldn't have wanted me if I needed them. They want somebody who they can latch on to. You notice if they really wanted to help people there, I just saw a report that there are charities and different organizations that need people. A 49-year-old woman does not need them. So they said, you don't say the truth in the beginning. Of course I say the truth in the beginning. They're the ones who don't say the truth in the beginning. Had they said truthfully that they wanted to hit me in the head so they can steal from me and then pretend they were helping me, who would agree to that? I didn't agree to any of it in the beginning. I don't agree with it now, but nobody would agree to it. And that's what I'm telling you. Nobody would agree to any of this. The other point is, if they were going to do this way at 49 years old, why help me? Why even pretend to help me when you can actually help people who need to be helped? Because in helping me, they can then say, oh, we're the reason you were successful at this. Or whether you weren't. You weren't even aware that I had those successes. So they keep saying, put up the catalog. Why didn't you put up the catalog that you were in? If I had been helped by them, they would have known the catalog existed. That's my point. They don't even know they don't even know this much of the truth, let alone the whole truth. And they're corny. So in the background, they say, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. You know what I mean? Like, could you imagine? Like, you just want to push them aside. Like, we don't need you. Because that's what they said. They said they learn things like that. Like, they don't learn things by, I guess, experience. They learn things that they've heard someone else say or seen someone else do. And that's my point. Like, could you imagine if every video, I should just do a video where I just repeat what they say so that you guys can be as annoyed as I am. Just repeat every little corny thing they say. Thank you for watching.